Welcome to Bridge Space, and for those that haven't been here, haven't taken a tour, please take a tour afterwards. We've got a great space here in downtown Lee Summit. I want to thank Ben for providing that to us. But welcome to GEW. Hopefully a lot of you have done a lot of GEW events this week. If you're not familiar with GEW, go to Kesey SourceLink, and it lists over 300, I believe, throughout the city. Here in Lee Summit, we're having 6 this week. This one, I believe, is the 5th of the 6 that we are doing on social entrepreneurship. By the way, I'm DJ Good, and I'm on the Velocity Lee Summit board. So Velocity is sponsoring those 6 events here in Lee Summit. And please follow us on Facebook Live, or Facebook, under Velocity Lee Summit. And sign up for our newsletter. We have an event every month on the 3rd Thursday. We didn't do it this month because GEW sponsored 6 events. So, what else do we want to talk about, Ben? What am I missing?
You're missing the fun event in December that we do.
Oh, okay, yes. Yeah, yes. The 3rd Thursday, usually it's the 3rd Thursday, so sign up, but the 2nd Thursday of December, we will do the pitch crawl. Something we started last December. We continued in July. Basically, we have 9 entrepreneurs from all over the city come in and pitch. And we started a bar, and one bar, and you get a pitch. And then we crowdsource the winner. And that winner goes on to the final bar. And we kind of did it as a lark last December. It's now been adopted by Microsoft Azure's Evangelist, and now they're being held all over the nation now. From something we started here in Lee Summit. So it's been a lot of fun. So December 13th, we start at 5 o'clock at Conrad's, and then we move to Dewdrop Inn, and then we go to Sharky's, and then on to the Peanut. So come out and have some fun with us on the 13th, and see 9 new entrepreneurs pitch for a whole bunch of different reasons. So I'm going to introduce you now. I guess I've kind of hit everything.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, Ben is going to be the moderator of this panel for social entrepreneurship, and I'm going to hand it over to Ben.
Thank you, DJ. Yeah, we wanted to have a rope hanging down from the ceiling, and we thought we had the other video queued up where Wes grabs the rope, climbs all the way up to the top of the ceiling with his wheelchair strapped to his legs, and carries that weight all the way up with his own weight. It's pretty impressive. Thanks. We wanted to give you some props. That's some great stuff. Welcome to Bridge Space. My name is Ben Rao, and we've got a great panel today where everybody has a passion towards doing something socially good, and they're building businesses around it. And so if we can just take a minute, we'll start with the entertainer, Reggie. It won't take long for you to understand why he's called the entertainer, but Reggie, could you please just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business, and then we'll circle back around and do a deep dive.
Okay. How's everybody doing? Good. That's what I like to hear. Well, my name is Reggie Gray, and I'm the executive director of an organization called Black Privilege Incorporated. Now, real quickly, when you all hear Black Privilege, no, we are an inclusive organization. And the organization is really all about making the folk who look like me feel good about themselves, know they're important, and as entrepreneurs moving forward to understand that, yeah, there may be reasons why some of us are not as far ahead, but this is the day and age of no excuses. It's time to work together. It's time to focus on education. It's time to build together. Now, before I go any further into that, my brother from another mother told you I'm an entertainer. That's how I got into entertainment. I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland.
I didn't tell
and at my
anybody else, so
6th
it's like,
birthday
it screws
party,
up the
I had
kid,
a
right?
black magician. Why do I say black magician? Representation means so much. I had someone who looked like me who was making birds and rabbits appear. So I had amazing supportive parents, excellent education, and by the age of 12, I was an award-winning children's entertainer, magician, juggler, balloon artist, motivational speaker. I do it all. #1 brogician in the Midwest. Yeah! All right, enough of that. That's just an idea.
And that's the end of our session.
Me.
Well, even though I had this phenomenal video, the audio was messed up. So, my name is Wesley Hamilton. I am a Kansas City native. I started an organization called the Disabled But Not Really Foundation. What we focus on is fitness and nutrition programs for people with disabilities. The goal is to help them push past their mental limits and instill a physical limitless mindset, even though they might be physically or mentally limited. Man, it's just dear to my heart for what we do. We do a lot of stuff in the community as well. Have programs called Hydrate the Homeless KC, as well as Keep KC Clean, where we bring people from all over to just do something for the greater good. And it's not just about us, but it's about our community. So, you know, when you see a guy in a wheelchair out there picking up trash or giving homeless food or healthy snacks, then you got to question yourself, why are you not doing it? And for me, since I'm born and raised in Kansas City, if I want to see change, I got to start it with myself. So that's just the way I did it. And being disabled really helped me. It actually empowered me to do everything that I'm doing. I started off at 230 pounds when I first got in a wheelchair 7 years ago. And I mean, I had never ate healthy, I never worked out, any of that, but I went through health complications, and hey, I had to do it, and I took off. So now I'm an award-winning adaptive athlete all around the nation. I do motivational speaking. I'm like really hands-on with our programs, through training those with disabilities. I mean, the list goes on and on. But I think one of my highlights is that I'm a single father, and all this started because of that. So if I can inspire my daughter, then I can inspire the world. So thank y'all for having me.
Not to follow those two up. My name is Max Kaniger, also Kansas City native, and I started an organization called Kanbe's Markets. We're a nonprofit with a simple mission to eliminate food deserts. It's something people have been working on for a long time, but I think where we are now, we have an opportunity and the resources to really fix our food system. So the way we do that is we work with the small business owners in those areas, in those communities, and help them sell fresh, healthy food. So we handle it all from, you know, working with the farmers and wholesalers to helping the stores merchandise and rotate product. We just got started this year, really. We started delivering in February, and we're going to deliver over 250,000 pounds of food by the end of the year to 7 partner stores. Each of our stores make about an extra $10,000. So for small business owners on the east side of KC, an extra $10,000 makes a big difference. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, that's great. Very, very different stories, very diverse. No, we're gonna come right back to you, Max. We don't go that way, so you don't have to be last every time.
I'm all right with that.
I think of each one of you have maybe different challenges in your business. Yours seems the most complex because you've got a product, you've got stores, you're competing with other people, I think, and that's why I want you to expand a little bit about what your model is and how you chose it, and how you developed it, and if you can just maybe expand a little bit more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so I've been fortunate, I guess, to have some really great jobs coming out of college. I got to kind of travel the world, run some businesses. There's the real leader for tonight. Run some really great businesses. I made a decent amount of money for a 22-year-old, but the people that I had working for me were working hard and still struggling to put good, healthy food on their plate. Not because they didn't want to, but because it just wasn't accessible. I mean, if you're getting on 2 buses to get to work and it'd be a third to get to a grocery store, it's just not realistic, especially if you've got McDonald's around the corner. I can't fault people for going to McDonald's.
So you're 22 years old. This is not what most 22-year-olds are thinking about.
Yeah, I'm older now, but that was some time
Oh,
ago.
okay.
That was when the idea kind of came to that I wanted to do more than just run a business, make some money, and continue living like I always thought I wanted to do. When I saw and got to know the people working for me, even at that young age, and see how hard they work to put good food on their families' table, and not being able to do it, that's what got me into this, and made me I mean, it just seemed like a fixable problem. I mean, we throw out so many millions of pounds of food, and yet so many billions of people are hungry, that it just seemed to kind of fix themselves. And
So what was the first big thing you kind of did to say, we're going to move this forward, and we're going to come back and talk about what was the turning point to where everybody went from, this is kind of like a passion, maybe a little bit of a hobby, to maybe bootstrapping and turning these into businesses. So what was like that first big step forward?
I got a job at a grocery store. What I know as far as getting food to people and food distribution, so I wanted to see what it looked like from the inside out, so I got a job managing the downtown City. They were great. I learned a lot about the industry. But what I really learned is that these guys are business owners too, and they're not purposely leaving people out to dry. I mean, they're a business, you want to have as many locations as possible, but there are a lot of barriers. I mean, one grocery store can cost 10 to even the new Sun Fresh or the City Health costs $17 million. And it's just not realistic. It doesn't work. That supermarket model works for most of us, but it doesn't work in these communities. So that was my kind of aha moment to see, like, well, is there a model that does? And you know, so I started spending more time in
The Vader invade Asgard.
learning about how people shop, where they shop.
How did you do that?
I feel like it's less of an invasion.
I ended up moving actually east of True, so I lived off the sale for a little while. Got to know my neighbors, talked to neighbors, and found out a lot of people were shopping right down the street at the meat store.
Pretty smart to have somebody else pay you while you're doing all of your recon at the grocery store, and then you're just out talking to people, find out what they're doing, right?
Yeah, I mean, because growing up, I wouldn't say I was wealthy, but I wasn't poor. So I wouldn't have been my target market. So, you know, I have ideas on how to do things, but I think it's better just to ask the people you want to serve. If you see an opportunity, why not just go ask people?
Yeah, you want to expand a little bit more, Wes, in your opening statement. We've already seen your superstar video.
Kind of want to know like how I started.
I do, yeah. So let's talk, because I think people want to see you can have a passion for something, and you may or may not have had a choice.
Yeah.
And so, you know, how do you take something that you're interested or passionate about and start making steps towards building a business out there?
Well, I mean, in my mind, it was pretty simple. It might not seem like it was simple to others, but after my first year of being paralyzed, and I was just 24, so just get this is that, you know, I went into this deep, dark depression. You know, I at that point, I felt like I was looked at differently by society, and I felt different. And who wants to be different when we're always fighting to be normal? And I hadn't embraced my reality yet, so you know, it was hard. So by the end of my first year, I was diagnosed with this thing called pressure ulcer on my tailbone, which led to 2 years of bed rest and about 6 surgeries. And it was very intense, and I was really like, I mean, I was defeated. I really didn't see me living, you know, like I didn't want to live, let me say it like that. And, but I was still a single father, you know, and so I remember going to the doctor and just asking him, what can I do to be more active in my daughter's life? Like, I couldn't take her to the park, I couldn't do anything. I was literally on bed rest for 21 hours a day. And he told me just to add more protein to my diet. So since I could get out for 3 hours a day, I ended up going to Johnson County Community College and taking up a dietitian course. And I had never thought I would be into nutrition at all, but I needed to do it to be a father. And man, I educated myself, I learned about nutrition. I actually fell in love with nutrition because it's different when you come from a place where we're not really educated on health and food and nutrition and what is really like sugar and how much sugar is in our drinks and our food. Well, you know, I mean, just like Max says, it's a food desert, and that's where I was born. You know, that's where I was raised. And so we did get fast food all the time. That was, you know, breakfast, lunch, dinner, Hot Pockets. So I fell in love with nutrition, and I actually lost 100 pounds in less than a year while I was still on bed rest. And the thing is that I could never lose weight when I was walking. So it felt good, and it felt really good, and it made me think of this disability as not actually a problem, but something that was more of a blessing. Because not only did I was able to change my physical, look, I was able to change my mindset. And I started to believe that if I can literally, put my mind to it, then I can make it happen. And think about how many people with disabilities, sink into this level of depression, especially if, you become disabled after you've lived this life of what you would consider normal. And I went through it all. All that was my struggle. And I just wanted to help somebody else. Like I completely thought to myself, if I had lost this weight while I was in a wheelchair, how many people that I've seen as I was growing up, overweight, depressed, that had a disability, and what type of man would I be to my daughter if I didn't share this information to those and help them change their lives so they can feel better and not look at themselves as something wrong, but actually can be empowered by it. And that was literally the way we started. And I actually started disabled, but not really in the hospital bed. After my last surgery, I felt that good that I wanted to start something to help other people.
So what was that first step? What was the first thing that you did to get that initiative moving for that business?
So I'm big on social media. I love social media. So I started this Disabled But Not Really Instagram. Make sure y'all follow it. And I didn't do anything but post videos of me working out. And because I'm like, Disabled Not Really, I am the brand. And at that moment, I didn't know people with disabilities that was doing what I was doing. So I just posted a lot of me under Disabled But Not Really. And I found that a lot of people started to become inspired and amazed by it. And that was the approach that I took. It was just more like social, really getting it out there, but showing people that I'm just not creating something and not being the face of it, or I'm not creating something and saying, I'm doing this first. I'm doing this. Same way with Max, he had to go into the communities to understand that this is what he needed to change. This was the problem. So for me, it was, if I'm becoming active, and I never did this before my disability, then if I can show people what I'm doing, then it's going to inspire them because they can actually relate to me. And I think that was literally the step. It was really just going out on social and seeing the impact that I was able to make just by me pushing myself and trying to be a better version of me.
I got to think that you inspired a lot of people that didn't have disabilities.
Oh man,
It's certainly inspiring me. That's why I wish we hit the road.
Truthfully, man, and that's an everyday, ability to inspire people no matter what I'm doing. Just getting out, and in my mind, I'm just grinding every day. And it's all just to be a better version of me. And it's amazing how you can inspire and impact lives just because you're trying to do better for yourself. And a lot of people don't have that, or don't believe that they can do it. So we need to face all this adversity every day. Oh man, it's inspiring, and it goes way beyond those with disabilities. And for me, dear to my heart is I'm going back into the communities that I was raised, and I'm teaching the youth that they can create opportunities, and they can believe, as long as they believe in themselves, then they can make it happen. So this has become more than just, it's bigger than physical disabilities. Disabled Not Really doesn't just focus on that. We focus on mental too, because a lot of people are disabled in their mind. And I believe that I was disabled mentally before I ever became disabled physically.
All right, I'm scared to hand you the mic.
Well, let me just say this real quick. First of all, I just want to say I am so humbled and honored to be in this phenomenal space and the vision that you have. This is so important for this community. Secondly, how honored am I to be on such an impressive panel? I mean, Max, 22 years old, come on.
He's 23 now.
Oh, wow. I Black 40, you're 28. I'm proud to see a young man that has the vision you have. And this brother here, I've been a fan of his since I first not only laid eyes on him, but saw that contagious smile. Yes, you probably inspire, the majority of people you inspire have disabilities up here. You look like me, so keep it up. I don't even know what I was talking about. I'm just excited, man.
Just excited to be here.
Yeah.
Do you know why you're here?
Yes, I do. Okay. Well, real quickly, I'll say this. Before Black privilege, I was an award-winning entertainer in this market, and my business partner and I at the time had started a business called Healthy Hip Hop. Long story made short, we filmed for season 7 of Shark Tank. Got to deal with Kevin O'Leary. I was telling everybody that episode was going to air, but y'all know what happened. It didn't air. They said conflict of interest. So long story made short, I'm 30, I just turned 39. I found out our episode wasn't going to air 3 weeks before I got married. So in saying that, I had to make a decision. I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. So as someone who's approaching 40, one thing that made me a little nervous was if I don't do something soon, I'm going to be stuck. There's only someone that can hit a stage to make money. So what happened was I'm very fortunate that I'm connected to resources, meaning that I can make a call if I needed $1 million. Doesn't mean I'm going to get it, no, but it means I have someone I can call. So the reason I'm in Kansas City is because of a multi-millionaire investor out of Los Angeles, California. He is a Black man and he is just turned 70 years old. His passion, his dream was to be able to create some type of organization to help people that look like us in business. Why? Well, Black folk are powerful. We spend 1.3 trillion annually. We spend money, but out of all that money, only 2% goes back into our own communities. 2%. Steve Harvey once asked a group of young men, how many of you all know your great-grandfather or your great-great-grandfather? None of them did. He said, if you didn't know, it's because he didn't leave you anything. I know my great-great-grandfather. My point in saying this is that I'm privileged. I haven't had a hard day in my life, even after losing everything. My family has been educating Black folks since the mid-1800s and been leaving inheritances since the mid-1800s. I'm going to be okay. The founder, he's going to be okay. But when we talk about people that look like me, collectively, we are behind. So, in starting this movement, he had more of a vision that was probably a little old school. And I'll be honest, I was very privileged in my thinking. I've always been one of those guys. Private education my whole life. Father, doctor, mother, social worker. So I always looked at it like, man, y'all figure it out. And again, you better start your business, find a way. I didn't look at any socioeconomic issues. I just didn't want to hear no excuses, because that's how I was raised. You know, education is the foundation, stay focused and make stuff happen. But I had to learn that my mentality was kind of a part of the problem. So in saying that, Black privilege is not an only by Black movement. It is a change the way you think about your money. 7% of the users on our new mobile app are non-Black. In 5 months, we have over 8,000 downloads. 7% are non-Black, and I have non-Black people that are checking into Black-owned businesses every other week. Why? Because they want to be a part of circulating their dollars. So, in saying that, Black privilege is all about connecting the community to Black-owned businesses and resources. Why would someone not Black want to download our app? Because it's full of resources. Guess what? Bridge space got added to the app today. Why? Because if someone in this area downloads the app, I don't care what color they are, I want to make sure that they have resources. I want to make sure they know where to go. I don't even know about this place. I'm so impressed. I can't wait to do a feature on this, just so any and everyone can know about it and take advantage. So I'm honored to be the one who's spearheading this new movement, Black privilege, but I'm in a different position because most nonprofits, I don't care what color the founders are struggling because they got to raise money. And it's hard to raise money no matter what color you are. So I am fortunate that the founder has busted his butt and he doesn't want to leave all of his millions to his heirs. Yeah, they're going to be okay. But he wants to create a legacy. So I'm a part of turning his dream into a reality. And this is someone who's been a mentor of mine since I was a teenager. He's been, I made my first million at 25. I lost it at 28. I had a multi-millionaire mentor that was telling me the market was going to crash. Did I listen? No. LA goes, the rest of the world goes. He's out of LA. So my point in saying this is, we want to be able to provide resources for all people, but we want to find a positive way to uplift our folk.
All right, we're going to come back this way, and I'll let you expand a little more. Can you talk a little bit more about your app, what it's doing, how it works, and what kind of the synergies it's bringing together as far as how you're bringing people together?
Absolutely. I'll say this first of all. We launched our social media campaign in January. So the biggest challenge I had to start was I did not want to create a movement where people felt like this. Where people felt, I didn't want the movement, I'm gonna speak freely, I didn't want the movement to make non-black people feel uncomfortable, like we were blaming them for something. And I didn't want a movement that was gonna make people who look like me feel like they couldn't do great things. So that was the challenge early on. So we created the movement by creating content. Just like my young brother here did. Content is king. So we were creating content, filming businesses, filming different entrepreneurs, positive light. So for the first 5-6 months, we didn't even launch the app. We were just pre-promoting it and building a brand because it's something different. And to be in Missouri, Kansas, 2 red states, for us to have 7% non-black downloads is huge. This is in Atlanta, this is in the coast, this is the Midwest. People thought that we were really going to be getting slandered because of what we do. So the support has been amazing, but the app is a mixture of Facebook, Yelp, and LinkedIn, but for black-owned businesses and the community. So when I say community, everyone, because the resources are for everyone. Okay, if you want to support a black-owned business, great, but if you don't, it's your resources. Kaufman, Casey SourceLink, all of those organizations are part of the app. And we've also struck partnerships with all of them because we want to make sure that if we have people who look like me that want to get into certain doors or have certain opportunities, that they know the resources are there. But we also tell them that if you want to be successful, you're going to have to step outside of your comfort zone. You can't just go somewhere where it's just all people that look like you. And I'm willing to go with people and hold their hand and be the face to help them be comfortable. But success is colorblind. So I'm very careful that we've done our research of all the similar type of organizations or technology across the country. And we're the only one that really preaches inclusivity and trying to reach out to everyone. Because again, it's not an only by black movement.
So take a minute or two and just walk everybody through what the experience is on the app. I just downloaded the app, now what?
Okay. As you all probably know, any of you who are in tech, is that it is forever growing and changing. I don't have a tech background, so I thought when we did this app, it was gonna be like, here's the app, we're done. No, it don't work like that. So the app, you have to sign up on the app. So you have to give your information. Wesley told me early on that was keeping some people from actually going through with the app, and he was right. I think we had a couple thousand downloads where the app was just on people's phones. They didn't sign up. So that feature function will be removed first of the year. But right now, you sign up on that, and once you sign up, you're actually in a community. So right now, we have thousands of active users, and people are posting to the app every day. You can check into businesses, you can rate businesses. I checked in to BridgeSpace on the app when I got here. And when I leave, I'm gonna check into disabled, but not really. So you can check into businesses, you can rate businesses, but then there's a separate tab just for resources. Churches, women, substance abuse, all resources are in this app. Everything. You want to find a co-working space in the app. You need to find programs. It's in there. We know how to take care. So that's why we always tell people, nonprofit organizations and resources, it's not about color. And if a non-black business wanted to add their business, we do not discriminate. You can add your business, but if you're not supporting that community, don't get mad at me if you start getting bashed and low ratings. But there are a couple non-black businesses in the app who are very active in the community. So it's just like if it's something for us.
That's pretty much, all right. It's tough to follow him, isn't it?
No.
All you gotta do is just smile though. So can you talk in more detail about the intricacies of your business, what you're building, kind of what that looks like, who your customers and clients are that are interacting with you? And we're gonna, and if we have time, I'm gonna come back through, we'll talk maybe how you monetize your customers as well as maybe if you had to raise more money. So let's just talk about that experience.
So, disabled but not really. We do focus on fitness and nutrition. So what we do is we do an 8-week program called the Healthy Fit Challenge. And it's open to anyone with a disability. And it's not just about helping you get big, it's helping you get into society, helping you get comfortably within yourself, giving you confidence, encouraged to be out here and embracing your reality. So it's 8 weeks and we do it out of a local CrossFit gym. And we launched different signups. We've actually did 3 programs this year. So, and we probably, I would say we got about 15 graduates throughout the year. So I think each program is about 5 people, which is a great number and it keeps growing. And
Are those people paying to come into the class?
so when our first program, we did it free. And what we realized is that you have to hold people with accountability. And because sometimes even with a nonprofit, you want to give back, you want to receive funds, you want to give people something despite maybe their income. I mean, that's what a nonprofit is. But then what we found was that a lot of people would take advantage of that. And if you got an 8-week program, we need you to show up. We don't want to just give it to you because we could have given it to someone else. So our last 2 programs, we do a $60 buy-in, which is about $350 for the whole program. So we pay $290. And we haven't had an issue with that. The goal with the $60 buy-in is that it's $30 a month for your fitness needs, and I mean, there's so much that comes in that package, from nutrition, meal plans. We have a life coach on our board, so he does one-on-one with a lot of the athletes to teach them how to deal with their personal issues. I mean, we partner with different food companies around the city where we can put a healthy food plate in front of you, so you can actually understand what it looks like, what it tastes like, different discounts and things. So our package is pretty good. But the best thing is that once you graduate from our program, and for the first 6 months, we pay 90% of your gym membership. So that means it builds consistency. So once you're actually become consistent, then you really don't care because it becomes like a bill for you. I mean, I can say that because I'm like got 3 or 4 gym memberships, and people always ask me like, man, you don't get tired? I'm like, well, that's just, it's just like a phone bill or a Netflix bill or something like that. Like this is my lifestyle. So, but our last program graduates in December, which is pretty exciting because we have something big approaching, and we're launching an app, and it's a disabled but not really app. And so what this app is going to do is provide fitness, nutrition, like mental health coaching, all at the palm of your hand, where we can take it and scale globally. Because we have on social media, we have a lot of people that are saying, man, I wish that was here. I wish that was in my city. Well, maybe we can't physically be there, but we can be there. And so we're launching this app where we're going to be able to just go everywhere. And I mean, we're going to do different challenges. We're going to do so much. And for me, since it, like you said earlier, it is a passion, but I believe that, it's more of my purpose to show people with disabilities that as long as, you might need that little bit of guidance, you got to push yourself. And once you get that little push, it's up to you and you can do it. So this app is going to be a pretty big deal. And it's a lot that's going to come with the app, and I can't really share it, but we got a launch party coming up. So if y'all follow this app, not really, I can check it out. But it'll be around like December 13th or 14th. And man, it's that
Well,
is one
do it
of
on the
the-
14th because the 13th we have to finish up. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Okay.
Okay. No. See, look. So, hey, we was just really trying to figure out what the date is anyway. So I'm with it. But yeah. So 8-week program, Help Me Fit Challenge. We'll constantly do that here in Kansas City. We're launching our app where we partner with CrossFit Memorial Hill. That's where we do our programs out of. They're actually remodeling to a bigger space, so we're going to have our own gym inside of their gym. We're going to be able to run our programs a lot like different times of the day. So we're planning on doing at least 3 or 4 in 8 weeks. So we do like a morning, afternoon, evening type of program, and even weekend programs for those with disabilities. And then we'll have an open gym where they can come and train and be comfortable where they at. So
That's great. All right, Max, let's dig in. We've gone from a grocery bagger to canvassing the neighborhood to find out what they needed. Tell us how you got that to becoming a real business and what that business kind of looks like and what your day looks like and how you're interacting and finding customers.
Yeah. So the model grew and developed into what I truly believe is the best fit in our current food system to eliminate food deserts. And so I had to reach out to people. I also, fortunately, I went to Rockhurst High School here, so I had a lot of really great resources. So, for example, when we wanted to get our 501c3, I think the application we turned into the IRS was 150-ish pages. I did not have to write a lot of. I put down the building blocks of it, but I knew a friend of a friend who could get me a really quality lawyer that was able to reach out pro bono. But I guess step one was just reaching out to the people you know, like saying, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. The next step, we had to come to the gym in order to raise money as a 501c3. So we tried to do that. It was successful in the first attempt. Which then kind of carried through. We piloted a program that I actually personally funded just to see then what it looked like in the real world with getting excess food donated from wholesalers, being able to buy from small urban gardeners like Ivanhoe neighborhood, being able to buy food from them and sourcing it at a local corner store. And it worked phenomenally well. We had actually that first store, we increased their total store sales by 20% in the first month. So then it kind of word got out that way.
So increasing stores sales by 20%, that's because you're bringing in products that they didn't have?
Yeah. Yes. The grocery stores are great, but with economies of scale, the little guy can't really order fresh food and keep the prices competitive. And so us focusing just on fresh produce and now scaling to more stores, we can order at that scale and we can work at that scale that makes the prices competitive and the store owner doesn't have to pay so much.
Is there somebody that's out there you're competing with?
Aldi might not like us too much, but we're a little small for them. But no, my goal is to fix the problem. If somebody else came in and, if somebody came in with billions of dollars and put grocery stores in every neighborhood and everybody had access to food, I'd quit and go get another job. As long as people are hungry or aren't hungry anymore, I'm happy. I know I can figure out something for me. So competition in that sense, I encourage other people to go out there and push the limits and see what they can do and see what I might be missing.
Is there something that you see the customers that are buying these, because these are products they didn't have, that they need help to understand what to do with those products from a preparation, cooking, if they're planning meals to go buy those products? Is there an education process associated with that? I'm looking back to where Wes was talking about Hot Pockets and McDonald's, and when you learn about nutrition, you lose 100 pounds. Well, I have to assume a lot of people in the neighborhoods where you are right there in that same time.
Yeah, and that's a huge hurdle and kind of phase 2. I've got a lot of plans in place. I come from more, my dad's a chef, my aunt's a chef. We got, so the cooking and education part of it is where I want to be. I felt personally that it is inappropriate to go into a neighborhood and tell people this is how you gotta eat, this is the way you gotta do it, without having the resources for them to go do it. So step 1 had to be putting the food there, making it accessible, because there are enough people that were ready and waiting for it. And honestly, some of my favorite moments have been when I'm in a store, because I've got the logo on, so people know when I'm stocking the fresh produce, that's what I do. And I've had people ask me what to do with, when I've stocked like red cabbage I put in a few weeks ago. I love red cabbage, it's a beautiful plant. But there was a guy that asked me, I didn't see something like this. I didn't know this existed. What do I do? And before I could answer with, here's some of the ways I cooked it, or here's some of the things to try, the 5-year-old kind of standing behind him from the neighborhood, from around the corner, she stopped and jumped in and was like, here's what I do here. And so I can step back and say, I'm going to listen to her recipes too. I'd rather, that's what, you talk about food as, the nutrition side of it, the importance there, and it is extremely important. But Reggie, you were talking about community, and so that's kind of the driver for me. I'm using food as a tool to build communities.
Yeah, it sounds like you need to be on Reggie's tab for resources in the communities where he's got people that are there to know that there's fresh food available.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Don't worry. Okay, he's already added you to the app.
I'm digital.
Are you looking to build an app? It seems like everybody else is.
No, I'll just be on his app. You can go to his app and I'll be there.
Oh, yes.
We asked a question.
No.
Where? So what locations are ideal for you? Where do you go? Where are you at on which side?
We've got 7 locations. The furthest west we've got one on 59th and Truce. It's a new gas station there. As far north right now is Independence Avenue in Brooklyn. There's a little corner store right there. I'm looking at stores that are 2,500 square feet and smaller. Everything right now is east of Truce, and I'll probably stay within the north boundary of Independence Avenue, maybe go up into St. John area a little bit, but then south right now, our furthest south store is 85th Street. And we'll probably try and fill that in a little bit better because there are hundreds of these stores in those neighborhoods. But around the entire metro area and working into KCK and stuff like that, I go anywhere eventually. But I want to kind of, everything would be in the food deserts, which are actually defined by the USDA.
Follow-up question to that.
You're done, sir.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that path too.
You just walk in. You just walk into the store owner, or because a lot of times the store owners they're remote somewhere else. So how do you get these? How do you get these locations, and how do you
acquire customers?
Yeah.
So I guess that's a good entrepreneurial tip. To get that pilot store, I probably talked to 70 plus different store owners. I was going around to all these different little stores, going in, talking to them, seeing, and they just said, no, I don't want to deal with you. I don't really care, and sent me on. One guy I got really close with. I'm a white kid coming into a store, and they don't know me. So, but living where I live, I actually left a business card with this one guy, and he lived 3 houses down from me. So that helped. And he talked to his boss. He didn't want to do it, but he had a friend who owned a different store. And kind of that and a mutual connection got me my shot in the first store. Then the success of that has brought all the rest. So we've got 7 now, but we've got 12 on a wait list. And it would be more, I just stopped adding names to the wait list because we just weren't sure funding-wise and our growth when we would get there. And I didn't want to promise something I couldn't tell you when I delivered on.
So one last question. City at all? Because they would be their push to get rid of the food business on the east side of town. So there's tons of resources that we could do. Funding, I think, could possibly be a funding source for you when you or help you find, not necessarily fund, but.
Are you tapping into some of the resources, or is that not something that you?
No, I'll take any and all resources you got, and if you got any specific names, I'm all ears. We are working on a few different, because when I first approached the city, the first things that I got asked by not only the city, but most other foundations, where has this been done before? They wanted to see it working elsewhere before they got behind it, and it's not. I took pieces of things around the country, but we're the only one doing what we do. And so a lot of the we'll recommend it, then we'll give you some funding. And now that we've got some numbers, we are talking to a few people in the city and in a number of local foundations and things like that about that next step. Because like I said, there are hundreds of these stores around the metro area. With at that point, that would be the potential there, I think, would be in the 60 million pounds of food a year we could get into these areas. And that could also be, I think, 5 to 10 million a year in revenue for small business owners in the poorest communities in the city.
So I just want to piggyback on what Max was just saying. You had a good question, and it was more or less like, how is this going to happen? How are you getting in the stores? How do you acquire customers? Well, even like for me, like I met Max on a different panel several months ago, and I was inspired by what he was doing, because for me, I travel for food. I travel for good food. There's no Trader Joe's in the inner city. There's no Sprouts in the inner city. But those are my stores. They're just, luckily they brought a Whole Foods, but there's Whole Foods price.
I'm cheaper than Whole Foods.
But what I've seen and what I'm hearing from him is just like, even like for me, if I'm providing nutritional, tips, and I want people with disabilities, and we're serving that underserved community on the east side, then these are resources that they can go and say, hey, go to your corner store and get the food that I'm actually pitching to you, that I'm telling you what is good, because instead they're saying, oh man, I don't have that. So when you have an organization like mine, and it's all about collaboration, whether you're a business or organization, and like I'm all for throwing him right now on our website as a resource, so people can start to look up and see, oh man, it's a corner store right around from me that got fresh produce. And I think that helps acquire more customers. That shows more. And like for me, what I found is that when you start to change, when you start to make a change, whether it's feeding, that underserved community with healthy food, you start to make something bigger. The impact is going to be big. Same way with those with disabilities. So collaboration and seeing a person in a wheelchair go into a store and they can get healthy food because they're trying to change their life, or maybe someone that never knew, they used to go in every day and get snack cakes, and now they're going in and getting fruit. Like, I think those owners, just like us as business owners, we talk. And you go to network meetings, you go to things within the community, and you start to say, hey man, I was just at a corner store and they had all this fresh food. I didn't even have to go all the way to War Parkway to Trader Joe's or Overland Park or something like that. I actually got it right here at this corner store on 59th and Truce. Now, how many people would know that unless it's word of mouth or social media? So I think that I just wanted to piggyback because I'm fascinated with what Max is doing. And I just love when people talk about food and the love of food, because I never loved food till I was paralyzed. And it's just become amazing to me. So I just think word of mouth, and just even like today of what you hear, going out and telling people, that's how we network, and that's how we acquire customers. Even for disabled, but not really. There's a person with a disability in almost everyone's family, or they know someone. So when you hear what I do, the first thing you're thinking is, oh man, that can impact my cousin or my brother, or I know this guy. Like right now we're working with a vet that has PTSD. And he was like, man, I don't know if that's a disability. I said, man, yes it is. And he's busting butt in the gym with us, and it's amazing. So word of mouth and collaboration. Don't think that you can do it alone. Do it with everybody else. Do it with community, and that's how we build.
Well, one of the things that's beautiful about these type of events, and when we do these, we had Nate Olson, Pancake.
That's my mentor.
So he was out here speaking, and he talks about, hey, what we always ask people when they come to Velocity events, what can you do to help you? Where do you need help? And he said, I want you to go to your big box store and tell them you want pancake. I can see your customers, clients, going to these corner stores and dropping his company's name there, and even working in it further to collaborate to say, take this card and give it to the owner, because I would buy these products if you had them here.
I think that's dead on. That's dead on. Like seriously, that's dead on. Just quick, I know, we're on time, but I think everybody, I know that Reggie said, he had a good investor. and it's just kind of like on business standpoint, and how Ben was asking, how do we make money, because stuff starts to cost. And what I think, for me was, because it was a passion, I invested so much in it on my own. Like, we literally just started reaching out for grants last month, and I've been established for 3 years. And, for me, it was more or less, I wanted people to see what I could create without their money before we started asking for it. And let you see how much of it is passion, because I could do it with every dime in my pocket to go inspire somebody. I can go get a membership at Planet Fitness and train a person with a disability. So that was my goal, and showing people like that started bringing other opportunities and a lot of people in the community to believe in what we do. Because the first question is, how you get money? How are you paying for this? And when you got someone like myself and saying, I'm doing it myself, oh man, why wouldn't I want to support someone that believes enough to do it themselves?
Well, and what DJ was saying earlier is that for each one of your businesses, if you're not out looking, there's lots of money available for different reasons. You're solving a hunger issue, cities want to help that. You have a part to play being disabled.
Not really.
But you get to check that box on an application for a federal grant or federal program that puts you at an advantage. So there's things out there that you can certainly use that.
But see, so my thing on that, which of course now we're getting grants because we're grown. But my thing was, I didn't want to get a lot of money and not have nowhere to put it. I found that a lot of organizations, especially nonprofits, go out for all these grants. And you're like, what are you doing to fund it? You created 2-3 events in a year, but it doesn't seem like you needed $100,000 to do that. And so for me, it was like, okay, I don't want someone to give me $50,000 and say, hey, show us in a year what you do with it. And we're like, oh, we launched a couple community events and we paid a lot of promotions on social media. So that was one of my takes of like not going for those federal grants, because I didn't want to be one of those nonprofit organizations where people are like, oh man, they got more of a salary than they're helping people. Instead, it was more, they're putting all their money to help people before they even requested from someone bigger. So now, we would love somebody's money. But before, it was more like, I wanted people to see, and we were too small to take something so big to grow when we had to have knowledge in what scaling could be.
Okay, we've got less than 10 minutes, and what I'd like to do is maybe give each of you a chance. 2 minutes, right? I got you. Be clear. If you want to talk about, or maybe give us your vision, where you think you're going to be in a few years. What's that look like to you? What does success look like to you?
2 minutes. All right. Black privilege. The goal is for this organization to be global and stable. By next fall, we want to be national, and HBCUs, HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities. I graduated from one. For this movement to be successful, it has to be the young, educated, smart, passionate African Americans and non-black folk who are progressive and get it. So weird. My money's LA money. I got coast money. What do you think they all say about Kansas City? Ain't no progressive black folk in Kansas City. Oh, them white folk, they gonna say y'all crap. You ain't gonna get nothing. So as far as I'm concerned, we've already proven concepts, because we've already done something in less than a year that's mind-blowing. Secondly, let me say this. I want you to hear this too, even though you're about to be Hollywood. A successful mobile app technology is like making it to the NBA or NFL. You can have 1 million followers on Instagram and it will not translate into downloads. So for us that have the technology aspect and component, we have to make sure that we have options. So recently I've changed my game plan, meaning that the most important thing is the sustainability of the organization. The technology takes us to another level. And I'm fortunate too that, as you all know, Midwest, $1 million is a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. We're gonna have to raise 3 to 5 million to scale this. I'm fortunate, I already got the first millionaire. Anybody who's ever had to raise money, It's always hard raising the first dollar. I know you know that. So I'm fortunate that I have someone who has the resources. But at the end of the day, this is all about creating a positive movement that's all about love for everyone. There's an organization called White Privilege. Really, national organization. And this organization is about white folk coming together to accept that they agree that privilege does exist. It's weird, I know. But our organization is going to find a way to work with them and just say, if you want to find a way, just circulate your money. Message.
All right, 2 minutes. No, what is our vision? I had this vision. I just turned 30 this year, and I had this vision that by 35, like I said, when I really was going to be this big organization, and we're going to be packed in, and we're going to be in gyms everywhere, right? Like we're going to run our programs in gyms everywhere. That changed. I believe that in the next 2 to 3 years, we will have built our own fitness facility that will be all-inclusive to not only people with disabilities, but everyone. A place that you not only will feel comfortable in, but you're with community. And we're able to run programs, we're able to fund and help people with disabilities where they do get maybe a discounted price for their membership, but the gym won't look like a rehab facility. It's my vision. I've already mapped it out like years ago, but my vision is to have something like a Genesis or Planet Fitness, something that every machine in there is just like something that someone else would go and use. But we can modify it, and you can go in there, whether you're a wheelchair user or amputee, and go and get your workout in. And you don't have to feel discouraged or anything about the equipment, but you can actually just go in there and get your workout. So like, that's the goal. You know, the app was one thing, but in a couple years, maybe in a year, the way things are going, that's what's going to happen.
I guess for me, success is that everybody in Kansas City and maybe nationally has consistent access to fresh, healthy, and affordable food. That's it. I think it's possible. I think the model seems to work better than expected. I just gotta grow.
So is that something you think that you will do, or do you think you'll have other people that will pop up in different communities to do that, like what you're doing, or partnering in the same way?
I mean, I think it's probably going to be me to a point, but this model is designed to support small business owners in those communities. So to support people that have taken this risk and are just doing what they can to run a small corner convenience store that's the little neighborhood grocer. So I'm just trying to alleviate some of the burden for them. So it's all, like I said, working together, collaborating.
I could sit here and talk to you guys for another 2 hours. This is amazing. It's like, and you're fine, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just 1 second, 30 seconds. I just want to say, I forgot to mention this, and I'm sorry. Kansas City is headquarters for the organization, 5-year plan. We want to develop a 21st century state-of-the-art facility in the urban core that's all about training our youth for technology, engineering, math, medicine, everything where we know the money's going to be in the future because we're going to be in trouble. So it's 21st century state-of-the-art facility in the urban core.
Actually, our facility is going to be built in urban core too.
Well, thank you for coming to Lee Summit, sharing your stories. Thanks for Velocity and GW. It's been a busy week. I'm sure you guys had lots of options today, so we certainly appreciate you coming out and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everybody.
Is there any questions from the audience? Anybody have questions?
Yes, any questions? All right, press release.
So why?
I'm only here so I don't get fined.
So what? Okay, why not? Reggie, you're moving actually. Your technology seems to be anywhere all the time. Well, guys, why not grow it here, but then license it out or do something that moves beyond Kansas?
So that is the goal for the setup, but not really. is, once we create this fitness facility, and we can take it to other cities, and we can build it, because the way it's going to be built is not one. It's different when you have a passion to build something and you're just doing it for fun, or from funding, I should say. And because I have a passion, I don't think nobody shares my vision. And so I want to start it here because I'm born and raised here, and I realized that the problem that I had mentally came from here. So for me to create change, I would rather do it at home. I had more than enough opportunities to move on the coast and start something there, but that wasn't where I was from. So I started here, but that is the goal. It's not just to be here. It's really to create it here. And especially Kansas City is a great place to be a creator right now, so in so many different ways, especially funding. So, because we're growing. So that's my take on it. I just wanted to start it here because I'm from here. But I do want to take it other places. The same way we're launching this app to reach those cities and communities that they don't have something like this. Those are the places that we'll go once we develop what we want to do here.
Hey, Wyatt, you have a question?
Yes.
Yeah, I heard all there 5 years. What about yours? Mr.
Turn off the cameras.
Good question.
So for me, once I get a business kind of going, I tend to want to get it operational, standardized, so then somebody else can help run it, so that I can go build something else. I have had multiple communities reach out to me already about building something like Bridge Space in those communities. Bridge Space is very different than the real estate play than some of the other co-working spaces that you see, because this was about driving economic development in Lee Summit, in eastern Jackson County. So if you can imagine other cities like a Joplin or Wichita or those tertiary cities, they kind of have a downtown business district, that they have a college very close, that they have interest in arts, and that model could be very scalable. So that is a possibility that's there. And just all the people that we meet and all the connections we have, I'm just fascinated. And I know something amazing is going to come across that's like, okay, this is it. This is, jump in, you can really help to make an impact. If any of you don't know who AY is and what he's doing, he is also an entertainer, but he did over 250 pop-up events last year that were solar powered all over the country. And his vision is to do these he wants to be the entertainer, but his vision is to do these and raise money so that he can take the money he raises from those events to buy backpacks that are solar powered to give them to people throughout the world who don't have power. Is that from your trip to New York?
Get the world plugged in.
Battery tour.
All right, let's give him a big round of applause and thank you. Thank you guys. There's some food, there's drinks.